Welcome to the Opportunity Podcast, where entrepreneurs come to learn from real buyers, sellers, and industry experts on the lesser-known growth opportunities to build their online business empires. We'll uncover tactics veteran online business entrepreneurs have used to build, buy, flip, and sell their way towards personal wealth. Sit back, grab a coffee, and get ready to uncover hidden growth secrets. The Opportunity Podcast starts now.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Opportunity Podcast, your go-to resource for hidden growth opportunities throughout online business. For those familiar or new to the podcast, I'm Sarah. Thanks for joining me today. Today we're joined by YouTube entrepreneur Sushee Nzeutem. Sushee spent decades working in a corporate background until she answered a calling to change her life and work for herself. It was only 2 years ago that Sushee bought a YouTube channel from us that she has since gone on to make 10 times more revenue. She also went on to found her own course, YouTube Business Builder Academy, an online educational resource where she teaches entrepreneurs how to replicate her success as an anonymous YouTuber. In this episode, we'll dive into the buying strategies Sushee used when purchasing her YouTube channel and the lessons she learned from buying an already established business. Sushee also walks us through the systems and frameworks she implemented to build a team and make her YouTube business entirely passive. She sets a tone for what it takes to be successful on YouTube, so you won't want to miss this episode if you've been curious about breaking into the world of YouTube yourself. I don't want to give away too much just yet, so let's dig into the interview and see what Sushee has to share. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Opportunity Podcast. Really excited to have today's guest on, Sushee Nzeutem. So Sushee, thank you so much for coming on. How are you doing today?
Hi, very good. Thank you, Sarah.
Good. And where are you calling in from, Sushee? We didn't even get the chance to talk about that yet.
Yes, I live in Thailand, in Chiang Mai, actually.
Oh my goodness, that's so awesome. Yeah, you're like right in the epicenter of where like everything in the digital space is happening, right?
Yes. It's a great place to be when you're like investing online.
Perfect. Right in it. What a great time to be there I know things are like locked down and stuff like that, but you've basically had Chiang Mai to yourself for a while away from the tourist, right?
Yes, totally. It was pretty quiet, but we've been able to work. The co-working spaces were open. And when you have a lot of work to do, you don't mind if you're in lockdown.
That's fair. That's a good point. Well, awesome. So doing a little bit of research on you and your story, you've got such a cool background. I mean, you've done everything from being a blackjack dealer, a stock trader, a JavaScript instructor. I mean, I'm definitely curious, how did you make your way to online business and eventually start your own YouTube business?
Yes. First of all, to start, I'm 50 years old. So, of course, I've done a lot of jobs since I've been working for the past 35 years. So I've always been curious about JavaScript, coding, anything that has to do with numbers and finance. And I got into web designing to start, where I started as a Macromedia Flash developer and designer. So that's how I got into the online and the website industry. And my last job was in Zurich. I was working for UBS as a consultant in change management. And I was really tired of it. I wanted to do something else. I wanted more freedom and I wanted to travel the world. And that's how I got into reading a little bit more about digital nomads and the 4-hour work week, of course. And that got me thinking about, yes, maybe quit everything and get into the online business. So I really was looking into all type of avenues, either buying a website, creating a website, building an online course. And I looked at several marketplaces to see if I can find anything that I was interested in. And I went onto Empire Flippers marketplace and I saw that YouTube channel was for sale. And I always loved video, doing photographies, filming my family's holidays. So managing a YouTube channel was something that I would have been very interested in. And when I saw that on your marketplace, I got really, really excited.
Oh, that's so amazing. And I love that, you're an interesting case here because a lot of people read the 4-hour work week and they'll get this inspiration to be a digital nomad and they'll go, right, well, I need to start something from scratch, which is great. And that's the way a lot of people do it. But obviously, there's another way of going about doing that, which is going ahead and buying and doing something that's established. And I'd imagine that probably helped you to launch into your journey a bit faster versus like starting your business from scratch and, maybe waiting a couple of years for it to be off the ground before you started traveling. Like, how long was it until you were able to buy your business and then move? I don't know what order of events that was.
Yeah, so I actually quit my job before I even found a business to buy. I quit my job, I sold my house and paid all my debt. I wanted to be debt free so that I can have the freedom to choose any type of businesses that I wanted to do. So I started traveling the world, and that's where I was traveling that I was looking at all those marketplaces. I didn't want to start something from scratch because I wanted to already get some automated income. I wanted to start with something that was generating enough money for me to live on. So that's why my first criteria was to buy a business that was generating over $2,000 a month. That's what I was looking at. And in that price range, I saw all kind of things, right? Some websites, YouTube channels, Kindles. But yes, that's the one that I chose. I didn't want to start from scratch because I'm impatient and I wanted to have something that was already generating some money. So that was a little bit established. So all I had to do was to scale it, learn the business, grow it. I didn't want to struggle into finding a niche,
Yep.
waiting for the first dollar.
Absolutely. No, I mean, that's so inspiring that you did that. I mean, that certainly takes a lot of bravery and knowing, okay, this isn't working for me, but I know I have what it takes to run my own business, even if I had to learn it while basically I'm a new buyer and running it. So I think that's incredible. Now, of course, we'll get into the details of this, but it worked out for you. Let's put it that way. Buying that YouTube channel and certainly has launched you into entirely new life path, not to mention one that's very lucrative. Before we get there and we talk a little bit more about the details of the deal, I'm curious about your personal experience with YouTube. Now you're, deep in the space and you have your own YouTube course and you're teaching people to do what you did. But what about working with YouTube, really resonates with you versus say, had you chosen another business model to start with? Yeah, just wondering what that meant to you personally.
Yeah, so I've always been the girl with the camera since I was a little girl. I always loved photography and videography. So what I liked about that business is that there were a little bit of a creative side and working more, doing, improving the video quality, working on the hook of a video, the scripting. Those were all the things that I enjoy doing. So that made it very clear for me that if I can start an online business with YouTube, there will be no hesitation for me.
Absolutely.
And learning the YouTube way, I mean, of course, I started my own personal YouTube channel only to put my family vacation on it, nothing serious. But I've always been watching hours of YouTube video content for years. So I wasn't very a stranger in the space.
All right, so you had the base and you had definitely the personal interest. Let's jump into this deal because it's so awesome to hear what you've done with this business. So, take me back to the beginning here. When you were looking to buy this business, it doesn't sound like you were, say, specifically out for the YouTube channel, but had that idea sort of developed for you along the way once you saw the YouTube channel in our marketplace? It was like an aha moment, like, oh, okay, this is the business model I want to go with? Or, were you still kind of seriously looking at other assets?
I actually was looking into other marketplaces and I saw that they were selling also another YouTube channel. That's how I didn't know we could buy YouTube channels at that time. And I was like, oh, this is pretty good. I didn't know I could buy a YouTube channel. But then for me to acquire that YouTube channel, I would have to go into a bid auction. And because I was a brand new buyer, I didn't want to get into a bid war. I had no idea how to estimate the value of a channel, to know if the due diligence was done correctly. And when I saw that there was another one for sale on your marketplace, and I knew that Empire Flippers do due diligence, so I knew that I could trust that the business was viable, that made the decision a lot easier for me. Of course, the price. And another criteria is that on your marketplace, it did mention the profile of the buyer. And on this one, it did say it was for newbie norm or something like
Yeah.
this. So I was like, I felt a lot better buying it from Empire Flippers because they already told me that, yes, it won't be too difficult to get into it. The business has been validated. So
It's amazing. Yeah, it's so great because we've definitely had buyers who've come on and said, look, like, now that I'm almost like a couple businesses down the line, when I started with my first business, what I realized is as a buyer, I kind of needed to just buy and run it to learn how to do it. And it seems to work out for people. I don't hear too many catastrophic stories. I'm sure if they're out there, but it'd probably be people who didn't do their due diligence or weren't quite ready or really wanting to run a business. But so far, it seems that a lot of buyers scraped their hands and just got in there and got it done, and then all of a sudden now have got multiple businesses from that first purchase. So it's really interesting to hear how you did that and to hear about where you are today. Take me to time and place. We're talking about, you saw this business on our marketplace. It's like, okay, there's this YouTube channel. Was there anything else that stood out to you when you saw the business for sale? Now, I understand you said you were looking for something that was making $2,000 a month. It was newbie appropriate. Was there anything else that you were like, okay, I'm really liking this?
for me, the fact that there were not too many moving pieces, right? Because as a brand new buyer, I didn't want to deal with sponsorships over here and maybe like another lead magnet over there. And I didn't want to have too many moving pieces. And so the business looked very straightforward, was just to publish videos. And so that really got me. I thought it was pretty simple. The price was in my budget. And of course, I discussed that with my family to see what they think about it. And I jumped into it. I was working on it for like 6 months trying to find a business, and I always got cold feet. And so on this one, I was like, it's time to choose one.
What kind of potential did you see in the business? Like, could you see the growth potential when you looked at that listing?
Okay, so then when I unlocked the listing and I actually went and see the channel, I realized that there were quite a lot of potential with this. The first one was that the quality of the video was pretty poor. And I knew that even though I'm not like a professional videographer, I knew that I could make videos that were a lot better than what was on the channel. So I was like, okay, I can improve the video quality. That would be great. Second thing, the channel wasn't monetized. It was only receiving money through affiliate links. Although there were enough watch hours and enough subscribers to qualify for YouTube AdSense. So that was also another avenue for me. I was like, I will monetize the channels to get another stream of income. Also, the channel was not publishing video on a regular basis. I think the former seller, it started the channel, but then he slowed down for the past, maybe like the last 3 or 6 months. And he was not publishing regularly. And that was also something that I knew that to make it on YouTube, you need to be consistent. Those were the things that I decided that I could definitely make improvement on the business.
Yeah, I think that monetization one is a good note. Might ask you a little bit more about that in a minute. But so, it sounded like you had a prime opportunity. And when it was about the time you're like, okay, I'm thinking of acting on the business. And, if you don't mind sharing, what was like the final sale price and sale multiple that you were able to close the deal on?
Yes, so let me get those numbers. The business was listed at a 27 multiple, and I managed to get it down to 21.6 multiple. I bought it for 80% of the listed price. So I bought that channel for $55,000, and it was advertised as making $2,500 per month.
Excellent.
Yeah, for me, that was a very, very good deal.
Awesome. Well, so I'm curious, like, how did that deal unfold and those negotiations work? Like, how were you able to negotiate with the seller to get the price that you were looking for?
Yeah, so first of all, I knew that not a lot of people would be looking for this because it was a YouTube channels. And I believe the majority of online investors are looking for websites or FBA of dropshipping. So this was almost like an anomaly in the Empire Flippers marketplace. Also, the trend of the profits, it was going down. So I could negotiate on that, the fact that the trend was going down. And when I talked to the seller, I also mentioned to him that the quality of the video looked like a risk for me. And also, the seller said that he tried to monetize his channel, but he was rejected by YouTube. So he had some issues with his account. And so when I bought the channel, I did raise the fact that maybe I won't be able to be monetized with YouTube. So I'm taking a big risk as well. And so that's why I didn't want to pay the full price.
Those are all some really great points. I really like what you said in the beginning about you knew that not a lot of people would be kind of looking for this because it was outside of a lot of investors' comfort zones. And I think that's such a great strategy, especially right now as we see certain monetizations becoming really solidified and quite competitive. I'd say, FBA is a good example. Not to say there's not brilliant opportunities, because there is. If you're an investor looking for a smaller business, it's probably ideal to start thinking outside of the box and going, okay, where could an opportunity be that other people are too afraid of, or they're not looking at, or they don't understand how it works? It's great that you were able to do that in this case. I think, a lot of buyers probably perceive a YouTube channel as, oh my gosh, that's a ton of work. I don't know how to do it. I wouldn't be able to run it passively. So they pass.
Exactly. And also we have to know, I was a brand new online investor and you guys publish the open deals every Monday. And I knew that all the professional investors, they just buy deals like within the first hour, and no way. Because if I wanted to find a deal for 40,000, 50,000, those are the deals that goes really fast on your marketplace. They don't even stay 2 days. And I wasn't feeling confident to go and just buy without doing any due diligence right there at the hour for the first deal. So I knew that I had to get my expectation, my bar lower. So one of the things I was like, okay, if I need to buy something within my price range, of course, it won't be on the uptrend. It won't be something with like a winning product that everybody wants. I will have to look at businesses that are maybe stagnant, maybe going a little bit low on the downtrend, but I know that I will be able to reverse that trend. So I knew that I will have to do a little bit more work. So that's how I was able to find this YouTube channel, and I was able to, yes, negotiate the price because I could see that he wouldn't be able to find something right there. The business was listed, I think, already for maybe 6 weeks on the marketplace before I bought it. So
it's funny to hear you say all that as a first-time buyer and what was on your mind, because a lot of the tactics you used, especially negotiation and the ways you were able to get it to a price that you wanted. I mean, all of those are tactics that very veteran buyers would come on and advise other buyers in the market. So you did that on your own, which is amazing. I think you kind of came in with a really good buyer's hat on, probably without realizing you knew exactly what to look for and how to get it done. So that's awesome.
Thanks.
So to take things a step further here, this is where I think the story gets really good, is like we're talking about, not only were you able to secure a really good opportunity, you scaled that opportunity as a first-time YouTube channel owner. So I wanted to break this down a little bit. Could you talk to me about your first steps when you took over the business? And, if possible, what was your, let's say, month-by-month roadmap for growth?
Yeah, great question. So this is how it started. First, let me tell you what's happening. Remember, I bought this channel around March last year, if I'm right. I bought it maybe 2 or 3 days before the world shut down because of the COVID. So I just put all my money into a YouTube channel almost at the worst time ever in history. Like nobody was buying except me, maybe. Everything was going down. The world shut down. We were hearing lockdown after lockdown of every country in the world. So that was my situation when I got the channel. I was very stressed. Then I got the channel and I was like, all right, so I guess I need to publish a video now because there were no backlog. Okay. So if I wasn't working, there were no videos. So I tried to work myself trying to build a video. It took me forever to learn everything, to do my video, to create my thumbnail, all that under stress when the world was shutting down everywhere. Then maybe a few weeks later, let's say maybe 5 or 10 days later, there were another big news is that Amazon slashed down their commission rates. That happened also for me as a new buyer. So like Amazon just slashed down by half or even more all their commission rate, meaning that I bought a channel that was making $2,600 per month with the former Amazon rate card. And now, as soon as I got it, yes, the rate card just went by half. So that was another stress for me. And I was like, there goes my passive income. I have to work like crazy. So yes, that was a lot of stress. But then I had to hire people. I needed, because English is not my first language. So I needed to hire people to write the script. I needed to hire a video editor as well, because those didn't come with the channel. So I went on the hiring spree because I was losing money. Amazon just slashed their commission. I wanted to hire the cheapest writer ever. So I was advertising that I needed writers for $5 to $8 per script, which if you look website owners, they can pay $30 to $50 or more for a script. I was paying a tenth of that. Of course, the quality was very bad. So all I did is taking all the scripts that those writers were sending me, and I was spending my time, all my day in Grammarly to correct all the grammar issue, to make the script flow and everything. So I would say I was maybe reading maybe like 20,000 words per day, correcting. But then the good surprise was that when we were in lockdown, what happened then is that everybody was home. And so everybody went on buying. So Amazon did maybe their best month ever. Everybody was buying online, desk, computers, anything to renovate their house. So Amazon, I had a great month. So almost the month number 2, I was already doubling the revenues. And my revenue kept doubling and growing since I bought the YouTube channel. So that was really good. I had to do a lot of things. So at the beginning, so I hired a video editor, I hired some writers, trained them because they were cheap. So I had to train them. I spent a lot of time training them. And one thing I did as well was registering with Genius Link, which is a URL shortener, so that I could make the links in the description a lot shorter and also manage all those affiliate links, affiliate products from one place. So from Genius Link. And that allowed me to actually monitor all the performance of my links, to see the broken links, everything that was out of stocks. I could manage that all from one place. One thing that I did also to grow the channel, when I bought the channel, it was only advertising 3 Amazon stores, which was the US, UK, and Canada. And I did all the European countries. Okay, so I had Germany, France, Italy, Spain. I also added Australia. I added Mexico. So I tried to add as many sources, as many stores as I could to collect some Amazon commissions. So that was mostly what I've done. And I decided also to go and publish 1 video per day. As soon as I got the team ready, I said, this is what I want. I want us to publish 1 video every single day and we don't miss any day. And I built a full system in Notion, which is an app that I use a lot. I built a full content conveyor belt, which allowed me to publish videos on a daily basis. And as of today, that content conveyor belt, I have 40 videos in stocks right now. I have writers, video editors, voiceovers. So a full team that are working. It took time. That's what I did with the system.
Wow. There's so much to say there. I'm glad that you brought up the pandemic because that had been a question on my mind. And, seeing when you had purchased the business, I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, look at that timing. I mean, it was right as the world shut down. Oh my goodness. I cannot imagine how you must have been feeling at that time. And then as soon as you brought up the Amazon affiliate cut, I remember that as well. Of course, that was a big deal. Kind of so many of our sellers and buyers going through such a kind of a crazy time. But obviously, you kind of answered my question because I was like, surely the pandemic helped in some way because everyone was at home, probably on YouTube watching things or on Amazon buying things. So I'm glad that you brought that up and how beautiful that it was able to turn around for you so quickly. I'm sure that first month was awful and very scary, but the pandemic ended up working in your favor as it did with so many other people selling online and buying businesses. Hearing a little bit about those changes that you implemented, I did want to make sure that I'm understanding kind of all the different revenue streams. You added all of the affiliate links to the different Amazon marketplaces. That was fantastic. So great that you did that. I know that you were mentioning earlier that previous seller that you bought it from was struggling with their account. They were struggling to monetize. So how were you able to clean that up specifically? Because I'm not super, not a YouTuber at all. So I don't really understand what that process would be like. I'm sure that'd be of interest to the audience.
Yes, actually, I didn't know as well, but I believe the former owner might have had several YouTube channels, and maybe he tried some black hat YouTube SEO or something that YouTube did not like. Maybe he used a credit card. I have no idea why his account was rejected. But the seller did tell me that it wasn't due to the channel. It was mostly due to the person. He said that if I try to register the channel with my account, I should get it. So that's a risk I took. Right away, I registered it. It took forever because of the pandemic, and the way YouTube AdSense works is they send you some type of postcard with a code to verify your address. But during the pandemic, it took 2 months for me to receive that postcard. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Pandemic working against you and for you.
Yeah, but so let's say like the first month I got the website, I made 1900. That was in March. And then in April, I made 3300. In May, I made 7000. June, 7 until we arrive in October, made 9000. November, 16,000. December, 22,000. And now I'm always like between 18,000 and 20,000 every month, and 22,000.
Oh my goodness. How incredible. 22,000 to shopping for a $2,000 a month business. Like, wow.
Exactly. I actually 10x the profit in 9 months, right? So that has been incredible. And yeah, it took me only 9 months to get all my money back from my investment. And since then, everything is pure profit. So yeah, it's been a pretty good investment.
Yeah, I'd say. I think this is so exciting because that's not the most common asset that we sell in our marketplace, but we know there's a lot of, potential in that. And it's so great to have you on to share what it was like to actually buy a YouTube channel from us and scale it the way that you did. It's the content system in particular, I find so interesting that you were able to decide, hey, wait a minute, I should not be doing this all by myself. Let me get a team in place and let me commit to actually having that content conveyor belt and publishing every single day and see what that does. And wow, what an end result.
Of course, that's my experience. I've been a project manager all my life. So anything that has to do with implementing systems, that's was my unfair advantage, I would say, when I coming into the online business world, because I could see that a lot of those online assets may be run by solopreneurs where they build it and then they try to sell it. And I come mostly as an investor, or I'm more a grower than a builder. So I will come and I will put in place all the systems and scale it. So that's, I believe, my expertise that I took from my past work. And I managed to implement that in my new business in the online world. So yeah, delegating tasks, that was for me second nature.
That's great. Yeah. We've had a lot of people come on and talk about, you're always trying to talk about growth opportunities, right? I mean, that's the point of the podcast, but I think it can't be undervalued that the greatest opportunity you often have is your own skill set and what you come to the table with. And the fact that you went, okay, I've got all this years of corporate experience. I know how to project manage. I can apply that to anything. And I can apply that to a YouTube channel. Despite being new, I see the pathway and I see that if I had a team behind me, I can grow this. I think that's such a powerful realization and a lesson to everyone else going, you probably don't realize that you have the skills in your back pocket, even be a brand new buyer or even be brand new to growing a business and apply that to a way that'll actually help you to scale. So I love that. I love that you were able to see the potential in that.
Yes. I mean, it's been an incredible story for me, also an incredible journey. Of course, it's so exciting owning its own business and being able to set my own hours to build the business the way I want it. So that's what I love about being an online investor is I have no boss. I can work on my own schedule. The fact that looks like now I have a purpose. I mean, the people I employ, they're so grateful as well because I don't know how many families are now counting on me. It's great to see that I'm able to help people globally with this business.
That's so awesome. I will ask you a little bit more on that team building in 1 minute. But before we get there, I did just want to maybe close out this section here and just ask, talk to me about the lessons that you learned from buying an established YouTube business. Was there anything that you wish you'd known before you gotten started?
Before I got started into buying a YouTube business, when I read the listing, for instance, and the buyer said it was taking him 20 hours of work a week, I would say that now I would try to double that amount to make sure, because it does take a lot of work when you're buying an online asset and you're a newbie. It took me a lot of time. So that was something. And to not take the listing price at fair value, unfortunately, always try to find a way to, if you have the time, of course, try to negotiate the price
Yeah, absolutely.
and take a risk. I would say, yes, no way I could have found the perfect opportunity. I would have waited forever. I'm glad that I didn't wait to find a project or an asset that was on the uptrend and making tons of money. And yeah, I'm glad that I took the risk. If I had known, I would have made that decision a lot earlier, because I've been thinking about investing online for maybe the past 5 years, and I only took that decision 2 years ago. So yeah, I would have made that decision because it's like as soon as you get on the other side, it opens so many opportunities. Now I'm craving on buying other websites, buying other YouTube channels. You get so many other ideas because you see that there's no limit, but you have to take that first step. So it took me a long time to take that first step. I'm glad I did.
I'm so glad to hear that first step has paid off in all of the ways, despite the world falling apart as soon as you bought. So it's an incredible full circle. I did want to ask, it's so cool to have you on and to get a sense of someone who's not only bought a YouTube channel and they've scaled it, but I understand you're kind of working more deeply in the space and you're getting really into what it takes to be successful on YouTube. So I think that's going to be really interesting for a lot of people. I'm sure there's a lot of YouTube hopefuls, but everyone doesn't quite know how to crack it. So I wanted to ask you a couple YouTube related questions. To kick things off, could you paint me a picture of YouTube today? What does it take to be successful and what trends are driving and changing the YouTube industry?
Yes, great question. Actually, we all know that YouTube is the most popular video sharing service right now and the number 2 search engine in the world behind Google. So we have to be on YouTube. Yeah, it's so important if you really want to grow. Any type of business, video is becoming so important. And there's one phrase that Sean Kennel from Think Media, he says it well. It says that in 2020, when we were playing checkers, you could win on YouTube. But if you want to win in 2021 and beyond, you really need to be playing chess. Now, YouTube is becoming a strategy game. It's not just put a video and you're going to get the views. Yes, you have to be successful on YouTube. You need to be very open. Another sentence that I like is Bruce Lee saying, be like water. You need to be very flexible. Everything changes. You cannot have ideas set in stone. Right now, YouTube is testing the YouTube Shorts. You have to jump on that bandwagon. Even more when you're a brand new channel, you need to get and try to those new formats. So short form video is on the rise. You can see TikTok is becoming more mainstream. Streaming platform like Hulu, Disney Plus, all this is showing you that video is an important aspect of any online business today, I would say. So that's how I see the YouTube industry. It's becoming even more present, not just YouTube, but the video industry. I think also a few weeks ago, we heard that Instagram is going to push videos even more than their photo sharing. We cannot ignore video today. I mean, there's over 2 billion users of YouTube. That's insane. And the trend is, it's not slowing down. So even if you have a website and add some videos, that's what I would encourage people to add videos.
Yeah, it's great advice. It's so interesting to hear about the change in the industry and the fact that you now have to have a strategy and you have to be more forward thinking. You can't just like post a video anymore and be like, that's it, right? Did I YouTube? So And it's interesting to me because I come from a video background myself, and I know what it's like to be in the shoes of a video producer and to create that content and to create that for big businesses who I think big businesses or solopreneurs kind of have a fear of video production. Like it's intimidating, it's time consuming. You don't know how to find the right people to translate your vision. And so I think that's one of the most powerful things that you've done here is you found a team to translate that vision. And I wanted to ask you a bit more about that. How did you find the right people? How did you put this team together, and what skills were you looking for when out to hire?
Yeah. So the first thing I did was to list down every single task I was doing in the business. So I opened a Google Sheets and I wrote searching for keywords, searching for product, ranking the product, searching for visuals, writing the script, uploading to YouTube, doing the YouTube SEO, creating the title, doing some A/B testing, validating the video, creating the video. So I had like maybe 40 lines. And I put across, I had another column with my name, me, Sushee, and I was doing all those tasks. And my role, what I wanted is that I could delegate every single task. So I have nothing to do on it. I wanted to work on the business, not in the business. And so I looked at my spreadsheet and I said, okay, can I find a VA that can maybe research the keyword and research the product? Would I need two profiles for that? And so I managed to find, a VA that was able to do maybe 12 of those tasks. Then I found a writer the writer was writing the script and also creating the title. Then I had to get a video editor who's actually also doing the thumbnail for me. But I could have hired a thumbnail editor, but cut the cost down. I was trying to find VAs because I can take a VA and just train him to do what I do instead of taking a rock star video editor that I will not be able to have him work the way I want him to work. So that's how I was able to hire people at a lower cost because I was just hiring mostly general VAs and I was training them myself because I knew how to do every single task as well. So I went on to onlinejob.ph, and that's mostly where I hired most of the people, some of them from Fiverr and Upwork. But onlinejob.ph, that's where I got the bulk of my writers when I started. Now I have writers from UK because now I have more funds, of course. But to start, I started with Filipino writers. Yeah, so I had to train all those people, and that's where I put my expertise. I was writing standard operating procedures and templates for them. Because when I studied the YouTube and my niche of my YouTube channel, I went and looked at every videos from all the competitions, and I tried to see how they were structuring their script. How do they start? How's the intro? How long is the intro? How do they go from one product to the other? How's the conclusion? At what minute do they say, click the link in the description? Are they asking people to subscribe at the beginning or at the end? So I did, and I studied the whole market and tried to pick everywhere where I could take what I like. And that's how I build the structure for my video. And then to make it cheaper, I said, all right, all my video will have one unique structure. So that's why I'm able to publish video on a daily basis, 1 to 3 video per day today, because we only use one systematic structure. And so for the writer, it's pretty easy. He knows what he has to put in the introduction. He knows how the conclusion, because it's always the same conclusion. And then he just change what we put inside of the script at the meat of the content. And by systematizing everything, same thing for the video editor, we have a nice intro that's the same for every video, the same conclusion, we use the same transition. So it's easy for him to create 1 to 3 videos per day, right? So we are very high output. Yeah, it took time, but what made it fast is because I created a structure that everybody's following. Okay, so that's why I call it the content conveyor belt, or like mostly like a car factory, right? I mean, they do the car, they're all the same, and everybody come and add their own little piece. So that's how I did. And if I want to build another type of, I will create another conveyor belt for another type of video. And hiring, yes, it doesn't cost me a lot of money. So that's why I was able to go through a lot of people. And then we use Slack as our communication channels. So everybody talks in Slacks. And the same thing, I created some onboarding materials so everybody knows where to communicate, where are all the training. Because when I hire a VA, as soon as I train him, I ask him to write it down. I'm asking the VA or every new person to write down whatever I train them to do. So that's how I got a huge library now of knowledge base of training templates.
Fantastic. You've said like so many things that have really stuck out to me is it'd be great. Obviously, you can apply these to YouTube and you can apply these to whatever your business is. Like, I loved how you started it out and you're saying, like, I wrote down all the different tasks and then basically batched that to see who could do what. And I think that's a nice approach because I think a lot of people go, well, okay, I need a video editor. So I'm going to hire that person. I need a script writer. Then all of a sudden, if you really looked at your tasks as a solopreneur, you'd find things that fell through the cracks because that didn't go with that person's role. And all of a sudden you're stuck still doing stuff. So I love that you just went, actually, a VA can do a lot of this for me. And I'd rather train them versus go find that specific person who will actually not be able to do a lot of what I need them to do. That's such a great approach, I think, to building your team out. And it's something I haven't heard before on this podcast.
Yes, that's something that I'm passionate about. Anything that has to do with systems and processes.
Yeah.
I try to streamline everything. Now, if I need to hire, it's mostly 2 clicks because we have all the procedures, we have the hiring funnels, the can responses. Yes, everything is set up. So onboarding a new VA, it's pretty simple. And because I want to hire people at a low cost, I have to make sure that it's very simple and that anyone can do it without requiring any specific skills. So for that, I then just need to have you hired and here's the recipe, the checklist, and just follow the instructions.
Perfect. That's awesome. Well, I think it's a very admirable process. Switching gears away from team, I know that a lot of people will be extremely curious about, this is like the $1 million question, making money on YouTube. So as we know, diversification is obviously very important when you're running an online business, helps mitigate your risk, helps keep your business strong. How exactly do you go about diversifying traffic and revenue streams in a YouTube business? Because the way I imagine that is I think of a singular, this is where my traffic comes from, but I'm sure you're going to tell me otherwise. But yeah, just paint me a picture of that and what that might look like.
Well, yes, it's not that easy to diversify your traffic on YouTube because you just publish a video and hope people will come. That's mostly what happens when you build on borrowed ground. But I would say if you want to diversify your traffic, you might want to advertise or publish your videos onto other platforms. For instance, Facebook. This is a great avenue right now. Is that when you create videos, you have like a catalog of YouTube videos and you can do so much with that. With the video, you can already publish them onto Facebook. So you publish the same videos onto Facebook. You can take the script from those videos and create a website. So transform your videos into articles. You can take the audio and maybe do some podcast. Maybe that will be a little bit more complicated, but when you have a video, you have so much assets into it that you can split and diversify, go into other platforms, make your video shorter, and depending on your niche, do some TikToks and so forth. Those are avenues that I haven't used yet. I am concentrating on YouTube, and depending on your niche, you might try to get an email list or sell to your customers, sell some products as well. But I would say a lot of people I can hear, and a lot of people don't realize that AdSense can be very, very profitable. And you hear people saying, oh, AdSense is not a lot, but AdSense represents 35 to 45% of my revenue on my channel. Okay, so it depends on your niche. And this is what you have to understand. If you're building your YouTube channels and you want to make it as a business, you have to understand which niche you are going to and who will be your customers. Of course, if you're building a YouTube channel and you're doing vlogs, you will get a very low cost per mile of CPM. So you won't be able to make money if you're doing some vlogs. But if you're doing a finance channel, if you're doing some talking about credit cards or talking about online education or making money online, the CPM can be very, very, very lucrative. And those are the numbers I will look for every video. I look at the CPM that I get from my video. And if the CPM is high, I double down. Okay, because it's not a CPM per channel, it's per video. So every video has their own CPM. So you can understand and you can see how YouTube, how the advertisers are bidding on your video. And if you think it's very profitable, it's great. I can tell you, for instance, making a video on mattresses, you can get a CPM from $40 to $60, which is pretty high.
Oh, that's mental. It's really cool to see that spelled out, and the fact that, underestimated growth or revenue channels like AdSense are actually doing great for your business. I was wondering, what do you think are the biggest YouTube channel growth opportunities that maybe most people miss out on?
I would say for anyone that is a YouTuber and that they don't have a website, I would say this is the first thing you need to do is to create a website. To increase your revenue, you will be able to offer more ad placement to your sponsors by having a YouTube channel and a website. To also try to implement and get an email list going on so that you can reach your viewer directly. And with that email list, you will have a lot of opportunities as well to monetize your email list down the line. Yeah, because, building a business on YouTube is like building a house on borrowed ground, right? You don't own your audience and you have no way to reach them directly. So that's the thing I would say. And same thing for the YouTube channel growth opportunity. What's great on YouTube is that YouTube is also, it's a search algorithm, right? So you don't need to have a lot of, even if your channel is new, you can still get discovered on YouTube. And so I would say it's not too late to start a YouTube channel. And people are really not having a YouTube channel. You're really missing on a lot of opportunities this way. As for websites, YouTube channel, you will take time to grow, but the compounding effect is insane, right? On the whole catalog of your videos.
Absolutely. I was curious, on that note, any advice for those trying to start from scratch versus, I know that you bought, but any specific advice for those people in that position?
Oh, yes, I can say if you want to start a YouTube channel today, I would say you need to niche down. Okay, you cannot be generic. It won't work in 2021. You need to niche down. You need to find a specific niche and double down all your videos on one specific niche. And then I would say look at your competitor and mimic their video and improve at least one thing. So you'll see you want to become MKBHD or another famous YouTuber or channel that you like. Try to find one thing in their content that you can improve on it so that you're trying to build your differentiation factor. Then when your channel is brand new, I would say go strong for the first 60 days. Okay, as a brand new channel. So publish as many videos as you can. I would say try to get to 30 videos as soon as you can. And then you figure out a more sustainable schedule. But first build a little bit of a catalog. So have your first 30 videos. And then you start to implement maybe once a week or twice a week. Because you need to know, as a brand new channel, you need to kick the algorithm so that YouTube knows that, okay, that's new channel, publishing a lot of content. Let's try to push him. Let's try to push his video and show it, give him some impression to test your channel. Then do not leave a channel without any videos for more than 3 weeks. Otherwise, it's almost like you have to start again because you will kill the momentum of your channel. So yeah, don't leave channel with no video for 3 weeks. Then it's almost like you're starting again from zero. Of course, there's always exceptions, but.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I love how kind of niche down that advice is and how specific that is. Of course, that kind of leads me to my next questions because, for those people who might have missed it early in the podcast, we now know that you've had tremendous success on YouTube and now you're running your own course. So, I was curious, after your hands full running your own channel, why did you create your own course? And, did you see a need to teach people in a different way than typical YouTube courses?
Yes, thank you for asking this question. Actually, I don't have my hand full since my business is 95% automated. Okay, so that's great. It's like now I barely work 3 to 5 hours a week on my business. And we're publishing 1 to 3 videos every single day, but I don't even have to look at it anymore. So the business is fully automated. So that's why I had the time to fully dedicate myself into building the YouTube course. And I built the YouTube course that I would have loved to have when I started because Most of the YouTube courses today are led by YouTubers who use their popularity to teach how to become like them, right? So you will see a famous YouTuber and say, hey, I have my brand new course. But yeah, those are for personality channels, influencer, personal brand. So they can teach you how to use the camera, how to speak, and how to be likable to, to your audience. That's great. But that's not what I'm doing. My business is I'm an anonymous YouTuber. You don't see my face on camera. And I'm still publishing videos on YouTube and I'm being successful without having my face on camera. So this is a course that is very specific. It's for people who wants to publish automated videos without being on camera. So they want to have a YouTube channel that's fully automated. And so I teach people how to use YouTube to make a passive income, not to become popular or create a personal brand. So the course teaches how to create a video without putting yourself on camera. And I show you how you can automate the full business by hiring other people to create the videos for you. And another aspect of my course that's very different is that I don't leave the students struggling to find their niche, to find their voice. I show them all the details of my business, right? I don't hide anything from them. And I believe that by showing them a concrete example of a successful anonymous YouTube channel, everything becomes crystal clear in their mind. And they understand why I'm winning at the YouTube game and what they need to do to get to that stage, right? So the course is very high touch, right? Because that's my passion. I love teaching and I can see how it impacts people. This is my passion. So this is not a course where it's just a bunch of videos and you're left on your own. Is I have live masterclass, live event. And so they're able to talk to me and we are building something together. So it's my little project. And I would say this is the way I want to spend most of my time, is really to build a community, to create exactly the type of channel that I'm being successful with. So I want to tell the whole world that yes, you can make money on YouTube. And I found a way to make money on YouTube. And it's not even taking you a lot of time. It's taking me only 4 hours a week. So I'm very excited about it. And I can't wait to teach people, to show them how to become entrepreneur in today's world.
That's such an important distinction you made at the beginning, that there's a lot of courses out there, but they're teaching you how to be popular versus actually being a business owner. Even though everybody's out usually to have a successful channel to make money, I think hardly ever do YouTube courses or teachers think about basically how to turn people into entrepreneurs versus personalities, like you said. So the focus on entrepreneurs that you have seems to be kind of the right approach. And, there's plenty of people out there who are like, look, I don't want my face on camera, but that doesn't mean that I can't have a YouTube channel.
Yes.
That's exactly what you're teaching to do. Now, I know one of the other things that sets your YouTube course is the fact that with your students, you present all the details of your YouTube channel like an open book. I was curious why you did that, because I think there'd be a lot of people who'd be nervous and be like, that's going to create a lot of competition for me. I mean, these people could just rip off my success. Why would I show them what it is I'm working on? I mean, how would you address sort of the doubters into your strategy if someone came to you with that?
That's true. I mean, I hesitated a lot, but I wanted to create a high quality course because everything I do, I go 100%, right? So I'm very proud of my business and how I set up all the systems. And I'm very proud of my course because it provides a real transformation. And I wanted a course because we all bought some, make money online course, like, try to build a website, and you can listen to those, but they're not telling you a niche. And we get stuck at that first stage, is to define their own niche. So many students, they don't even go past that because they're not sure. They're not sure if they're going into the right niche. I wanted to show them everything. I said, yes, that's true. Maybe people are going to duplicate my business, but what are the chances? I would say they can try. And I'm rooting for their success. I believe there's enough room on YouTube to have channels that also look like mine. Actually, my channel will be on the recommended feed of their channel. So we will just feed each other's views. That's what I believe. I value for me the quality of the teaching. And I can see, because I ran a funding cohort, I built a course with 12 other students, and the results were incredible. And I believe the reason is because They could see the backstage of my business. They could ask any questions. And now they were able to decide what niche they were going into, but they knew exactly how it's working. It's not theoric. And yes, for that, I had to make the sacrifice of showing to my students my business so that it motivates them like they've never been motivated before. So I think that makes it, I believe my course is unique in that way. I know for a fact that there's no other YouTube course talking about automated businesses that show their businesses.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fantastic approach. I mean, it's like, how are you really going to learn how to be an entrepreneur without getting your hands dirty and actually seeing it being done? Hiding wasn't like a great option, at least not if you want to create a course that's going to actually move the needle for people.
And you don't know if they're actually successful. I mean, you don't know. They just, we don't know. So by being an open book, they can see every month how much I'm making, where the money is coming from, and what was my click-through rate. It's no secret for them.
Oh, amazing. Well, talk to me about the key principles you're teaching your students in order for them to be successful on YouTube.
Yeah, I would say it's all about consistency and systems. I would say that's so important. You have to be consistent and try not to do the same thing twice. Meaning, if you do a task and you have to do it again, it means that you have a system for that, or you have a procedure or standard operating procedures, SOP. And so I try to really instill that into them, that you need to think in systems and frameworks. And that's how it won't eat all your brain. You have a good business that's working automatically. Then another sentence I like to say is, you stop, you lose. So when you get into it, it takes a long time to get the compounding effect. And so as soon as you start your content conveyor belt, you have to keep on going and trust the system, right? So the goal is not to be pretty, is to be efficient. And also hard work beats talent. And instill that by showing them that I work hard. And so they have a model of someone who works hard, but also works smart, because I have systems and processes. And so those are really what I instill to my students, really, in order to be successful is you stop, you lose, hard work beats talent. And it's all about consistency and systems.
Yeah, I like that you stop, you lose, especially after you put it in perspective. It's like stopping for 3 weeks is like restarting your channel. I'm sure that's probably news to a lot of people who've been trying to make it on YouTube and wondering, what happened? I didn't take that long of a break. And it's like, nope, in the YouTube world, you did. You can't be doing that. Also awesome, Sushee, to learn about all of this and get certainly more of your insight on how to be successful on YouTube. And you've clearly nailed it, so much so that you're able to teach other people. I did want to ask like a couple personal questions. I think I know the answer to this, but I wanted to ask anyway. Was leaving the safety net of your corporate roles worth it? Who do you think you are today thanks to the YouTube businesses that you've grown?
Oh boy.
Big one, I know.
It was so worth it, really worth it, because I feel that finally I feel free. And maybe it doesn't come out on the podcast, but I'm a Black woman. I work in corporate world, and I feel that, I don't know, I won't say that I was victim of racism, but I feel like I wasn't growing a lot and that I could add so much more values, but I felt that I wasn't at the right place to do that. And for a long time, I thought I was a lazy person, only doing the strict minimum required. But in fact, it was because after doing the same thing for 30 years with no hope of change in sight, but life becomes really like a routine. So I didn't feel like I had no energy, no ambition. I was commuting to work. So having my own business, I mean, it really changed my life because I have a purpose. If I don't work, I won't make money. If I don't improve the processes, I won't grow. And it became like a video game. I got so addicted to it, trying to make it as efficient as possible. But also, it gave me the freedom to speak. Like, without going into details, but I can say that on social media, there were stuff that I wouldn't even like. You wouldn't see me participating in so many movements because I was scared that it will ruin my corporate career. I didn't want to be associated with this movement or that political thing because my corporate career was so important. Now that I have my own business, I feel like I gain my voice back. And it's incredible. And so I've been able to reach out to people, to put some likes on some posts that I would have never done before. And yeah, for me, it was important. I feel like, yeah, I got my voice back. And it really changed my life. The fact that I don't have any financial worry, I was able to build a course and take all the time I wanted to build it because I'm not building the course to survive. With the channel, I'm already making the money I need. So this is a passion project. So I'm able to do passion projects and take the time to design, to travel the world. It's insane. So I totally changed from who I was before, that little girl strapped in convention, corporate America or corporate bank in Zurich, to now someone living in Chiang Mai, Thailand, waiting for the pandemic to stop so that I can keep on traveling the world, right? So yeah, have big dreams. It's great. It's like a new life.
You're so inspirational, truly. It's so great to hear about that because it's like, yeah, a piece of the puzzle is that you have financial freedom and your business took off, but you've got so many other probably more important aspects working on your passion project, finding your voice. I mean, that's incredible. And not to mention breaking out of systems that just weren't serving you and you weren't able to get ahead. And I think one of the things that you said that stuck out to me is like you had been working in those systems and working in the same way for 30 years. There's so many people who probably work in a same role for 5 years and are mortified at the idea of starting something new. And then if you told them, well, would you change your life at 30 years working in the same roles? And they'd be like, absolutely not. But you were like, you know what? This is not serving me. None of this. And even though I've been in it for a long time, that's not something that's going to hold me back. That's actually going to be a benefit. And I'm going to apply all of those skills to a new business. And that is going to be the reason for my success. And so it's a beautiful mind shift where I just think there'd be so many people out there too scared to do what you've done. And you're truly an inspiration in the way that you've made your life kind of work to your benefit, after all this time.
Yeah, that's, I feel blessed now.
I love that. Well, you started talking about this a little bit, the what's next. I'm curious, do you have a vision of expanding your presence on YouTube? Are you eyeing other online business opportunities?
Yes, the one thing I love more than anything is really education. And so if I have to expand, I will, of course, create more YouTube channels since I have a winning formula. So I will create other YouTube channels. I'm already creating some new ones. Also, I'm very interested about EF Capital.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah, I need to put that money to work somewhere, right? So
Amazing.
yeah, so that's just great because it's like I want my money to work for me, but I don't want it to take some of my brain space. And so putting some money in EF Capital and have rock star operators working on businesses and making money for me, it's just ideal, so.
Absolutely. No, I mean, it's been an exciting thing that we've launched. I mean, there's just endless potential in that realm as well. So I love that you're looking at that.
Oh, yes.
I wanted to kind of close out on YouTube here. I love to ask people of what their take is on the future. And with the caveat, hey, we know that online is quite unpredictable. You've certainly seen that yourself since you bought your business. But what is your take on staying as relevant and future-proof as possible as a YouTuber and a YouTube business owner?
I would say to always keep learning, to try to join some mastermind. There's always something to learn, and the industry is changing so fast all the time. There's a new thing that YouTube is trying, or a new way to do the intro on your videos. So it's important to really always keep that student mind and always keep learning. Don't hesitate to try a new video format, right? So at one point in YouTube, everybody had a nice jingle introduction with their logo, and now nobody's doing that anymore. And so your videos can get old very fast if you don't follow the trends. Okay, so always keep learning. Try to join some mastermind. It can be a lonely world, really. It can really be a lonely world. Chiang Mai is a great place because there's all the digital nomads. We're all there. I'm into communities, and I would recommend anyone to do that. That's the best way to future-proof yourself. Also, specifically on YouTube, depending on the videos that you're doing, of course, try to do some evergreen content, okay? Not just 2021 or the latest gear that will be obsolete in 5 months, right? You want your video to have the longest longevity as possible. Always think about evergreen content. Do I have enough evergreen content that if someone look at my video 5 years from now, would it still be relevant? That's one way of really staying future proof for yourself. And as a business owner, I mean, I'm all into processes and I don't slack on doing my monthly budgeting report every month. So that I can see how much a video cost me, how much I spend this month, how much the CTR, the like-dislike ratio. And yeah, don't let a trend going in the wrong direction too fast. Try to, what gets monitored, what gets measured gets managed, right? So have lots of KPIs so that you're able to really future-proof your business as possible. And I would say if you want to sell it one day, always try to review all your processes. Always keep all those things nice and tight. We never know what the future holds. And one day you might want to sell your business. So don't slack on doing your reporting, your budgeting, and on the hiring people, having training and SOPs so that whenever you decide to sell, it will be an easy transaction.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm so glad that you ended on that note because we obviously try to drill that down into potential sellers. Hey, get your ducks in a row. You do not want to be figuring that out when you're going to exit. Just do the work now. And then by the time you do go to do something like an exit or whatever it is in your next stages, you're going to be ready and you're going to be so much better off for it. If anything, affect your bottom line and your valuation. So it's such fantastic advice. Like you've really come to the table with such concrete examples of how to be a success on YouTube. And I'm so grateful for that. We normally close out these podcasts with just a couple rapid fire questions if you're cool with it. Sometimes it's really difficult, right? Because they're actually kind of deep questions, a little hard to do, so we'll work on it. First, a rapid fire question here. What are the best hidden growth opportunities for YouTubers?
I would say for YouTubers, I would say YouTube Shorts. That's the fastest way to gain exposure right now.
Incredible. Okay. And what tools or resources can help online business owners grow their businesses, or namely YouTube owners grow their businesses?
I would say my favorite tool is Notion. So that's to manage your business. I use Notion, which is an app. I don't know if you know, a productivity app. Another one, TubeBuddy and vidIQ. There's no favorite for me. I have both. So those tools are great for you to find new keywords and see your competition. So those are great tools to have.
Excellent. And final question here. What's been your funniest moment working as a digital entrepreneur?
Funniest. I won't say that I've been laughing a lot building that business. I can tell a little story. So I live in Chiang Mai and I wanted to buy a website, and the owner was Matt Digidi. I believe some of your auditors might know him. Yeah, so I contacted Matt Digidi saying, okay, looks like you have a great website for sale. I'm interested. And then we realized that we were living at that time in the same condo. I was like, oh, okay, so we're living in the same condo. And then Matt says, great, so let's meet. I'm right there with a bunch of dudes. We're in a sauna. I was like, okay, no. No, I'm sorry. But he didn't say it this way at all, right? He was very nice. I was very happy to meet him. But that's true that the first encounter would have been in a sauna because we were living in the same condo. But I was way too shy. So I declined and we met a few days later. But he's a great dude and I'm sure he's going to listen to it. So Matt Digidi is the real deal.
Yeah, no, we've had him on the show and he's fantastic. We got to meet him as well when I first joined Empire Flippers a couple of years ago. So it's a small world. It's a crazy, crazy small world in the online space, and amazing how you can just be you could be talking to someone online about buying or selling your business and all of a sudden they're just in your building.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, cool. Sushee, this has been so much fun. I've really relished the opportunity to have you on and talk all about YouTube and your experience as a buyer buying a YouTube channel from our marketplace. I think this is going to be so inspirational to so many. So thank you for coming on and sharing your story and your wisdom with all of us.
Oh, thank you, Sarah. I had a great time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. If you want to connect with Sushee, you can find her on sushee.com, which we'll leave in the show notes for you, as well as through YouTube Business Builder Academy. I hope you've walked away with a bit of new insight that'll help you in your digital entrepreneurship journey. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To learn more about businesses available for sale at Empire Flippers, click the link in the description or visit empireflippers.com/marketplace. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.